Hi, everybody. Hold on, let me see. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. Let me back up. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So I have paperwork that I'm supposed to be doing, and I have a lot of stuff that, let me get online with this. Hold on. I'm not trying to get in the picture. Give me a second, you guys. In three, two. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I am your host, Kimberly Cloud. So today what I'm doing is I'm doing my paperwork right over there. And you're just going to watch me. I'm going to talk about certain things, certain topics. I can't put my paperwork, on camera. So right now I'm just going to do my paperwork right on camera because it's business. I know that I couldn't have y'all come to my house while I do paperwork, but I figured I would sit up there and do paperwork and y'all watch me, and I talk to you guys, you know, um, that's what it's all about. And, y'all are invited to my house, You see my small little TV? I have a small little TV. That thing's been rocking with me ever since I bought it from Best Buy. So let me sit down. Okay. Right now, I'm doing bills. Right now, I'm doing bills where I am writing down my bills. I got it at the right angle too because I kind of messed up the other time and had some of my stuff showing my proprietary, but I deleted it. So what I'm doing now is going through my bills and getting prepared for next week. When I get back on here, I'm going to edit a video. I hope that y'all enjoy. Let me kind of scoot it this way a little bit. No, let's see. Let me shut that window. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm doing my work. I wanted y'all to be invited, so that's why I made this show. Usually, what I do is I invite TikTok or Facebook, to the degree of live without going live on all of my platforms. This is my documentary of what I'm doing and how I'm performing. I'm analyzing myself. While y'all analyzing me, I'm analyzing myself to see how much I can get done. Last night was so crazy. I got in the bed. I said, I'm about to do all this work until like, 1 o'clock. Man, as soon as I close, after the shower, brush your teeth, clothing, I got in there ready, prepared. I always do this to myself, just ready and prepared to take on an extra 2 hours. I tell myself I want to take on an extra 2 hours. I don't always do it, but sometimes what'll happen is sleep will conquer, exhaustion, and so I get very sleepy around, I don't want to say what time, but around that time. So right now, what I'm going to do, I have a bunch of paperwork that I have, and I want y'all to watch me. Just, watch me, and I'll just make a conversation. You'll see me on camera, and I'm monitoring everything else. So let's get started. Hold up. Um, I wish I had an Alexa. I may end up buying an Alexa. So right now, what I'm doing right now is I'm getting my bills prepared for next month. I couldn't find, the last thing I did was I was trying to find the name of a bill. I don't want to say which bill, but the bill, I was doing my bills and I was trying to find where to make the check payable to. And I couldn't find it nowhere because I was going to sleep. I kept going in and out of sleep. I was like, wow, man, maybe, you know, when I wake up, I can take care of this. So what I'll do is this. This is for, I cannot wait. I just want to tell you guys, if you guys are hanging on, the guys that are hanging on and not falling off, Happy New Year's to the new people. Happy New Year's. I don't know how long you're going to watch me. That ain't nobody important. That is nobody important. Like I said, nobody important. Woo. I guess it's this. I'm going to put this. I know I got that wrong, but so right now I'm processing a payment, not processing, but putting a payment together, a future payment. This one. Any time is right. This is vital. Okay, I have a lot. So right now I'm jotting down where I need to call on Monday. I have no need or no use of Walmart right now. I bought everything. Only thing I need, to be quite honest, that I can get from almost anywhere is some printer paper, which I wrote down. And I don't need a universal remote because I found my remote after I went through the second to the last box last night. I did accomplish that off camera. And that is basically it. Uh, oh, I didn't write it down. So I want to tell y'all something. I had some type of luck. If it's the right price, um, there's this. I don't want to talk about it. Never mind. Who is that? Hey, Camilla. Ooh, I gotta melt. I gotta do that lean. Where is it at? Right here. And where did I put? Is in here. Yeah. And the number is not here. Don't you know in the state of Iowa? I'm sorry. Not Iowa. I don't know what made me say that state, but the state of Idaho, that you have to take a test in order to get your license here. That I feel like I'm 16 again. I feel like I'm 16 again. It may not, I don't know if it's hard. I don't know if it's super easy. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to make sure I square that away. Let me go up to I'm about to multitask. Let me make this appointment real quick. Sorry. Okay, let's make the appointment. I had an appointment 2 days ago, but I, I was jumping the gun. There was a lot of people coming over. It's not that much. Um, Appointments. Here we go. It's hard. Idaho payment office notes. Um, it is so hard to find. That's the only thing I don't like. It took me forever to find it, so it must be, if I had to guess, it would be this one. And please use the appointment scheduler list. Driver's license. Um, Renewals out of state. No concealed weapons. Weapons aren't on my mind right now. Hmm, let's see. Right here. Let's see. Right here. Right there. $35 for. I am not on Australia time. I wish I was on Australia time. Belarus, Cyprus, to visit. Oh my God, Russian time. That is so cool. I'm on US time. The best time that there is. Let me write this down. Yeesh. Mm, 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 mm. It don't say nothing about a test. If I have to take a test. If I don't have to take a test. Oh, testing times. Closes at 4. Note. Okay. Okay. Okay, Iowa. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was ready to say some shit. Y'all know how I do. Where's the address? Okay. um, let me fill this out. Oh, I did fill it out already. Just can go to records. Okay, so let's see. Let's erase this. Erase that. I gotta show y'all something. Biden's new his new what is it? Book. Do I have it up? Yeah, I have it up. Hold on, you guys. I want to zoom in on it. Oh, funny man. What is he staring up in the sky at the sky for? I mean, I know I stare at the sky. I stare at the sky all the time. But what was on his mind in this picture? He wants to know if he was president. He wants to know if he was president. That was hilarious what Trump did. What else? Ooh. I'm afraid to play it. They got good poker faces. You know, you can tell Trump was like, I want to make this look huge. I want to make it look big. If I'm gonna be on WrestleMania, I don't want no Trump stuff. Oh yeah, I can't see it. Oh yeah, I can. Oh, I'm right on it. He was like, it's an honor for Trump to be able to do that. They loved it. I used to watch this all the time. Let me stop before I get banned. Oh man. Oh my God, they vandalized his Hollywood plaque. Dang. You know what's even better? You know what's even better is the fact that that lasts forever. One day, you know, it's going to be more than just something of that sort. You know, everything that he's ever done, you know, you could just go to that Hollywood thing, that Hollywood symbol, and go into everything that he's ever created on display, like a virtual museum or something. Every star has it. You know, we have the physical museums, but what about a virtual? I'm talking about from birth to all the way till his until death. I'm not saying he will die. So like, yeah, that's every star. You know, you would go on, step on the actual sign, you know, like it says Donald Trump on there, and you would step inside of it, and y'all would have, you would go, or your family would go on their own virtual tour, you know, to different places of Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying. And like, let's say it was Janet Jackson or, you know, Sixpence, you know, the same thing will happen from birth, from what you can, Hollywood can gather about them to their death. You know, they step on the plaque and they virtualize this tour. It's going to cost a lot of money to do something like that. And you get to actually, it's 3D and you get to actually step into everything, like step into his room virtually, step into the White House. One day, certain parts of the White House you will be able to step in. You notice that they only show certain parts of the Oval Office. Well, these 132 rooms that they have, I believe they have 132 rooms, plus some rooms that they don't want you to know about, those secret, official secret rooms. You know, it'll be like certain rooms that you get to see virtually inside, you know, what Trump favorite stuff was, what was his dislikes about the presidents, and he'll tell you. He's straightforward, you know. And that is the future. That is the future. So let's continue. Hold on for a second. I need to get on school. Maybe I'll get on school soon. Basically, he had no Epstein connection. Tim, oh my God, I want to know. I want to know. I can't like that. They caught me off guard with that. Oh my God. AI can do anything. Yo, that's scary, man. I didn't do it. Oh my God. I want, no. Oh my God. That is just so wrong. I'm done. Let me get my, oh my, sorry about that, y'all. Like what happened was, I sat up there and I was online looking through the scrolling through, and what happened was, my TikTok said that I'm putting hate speech on there, and it wasn't me. I didn't say it. You should know that your virtual AI search engine should know that I am not the one saying it. If it's only me, I can see if someone else was in the room. No one's in the room except computers. You have my IP address, you have my hookup to all my computers. I didn't say the shit. That's not hate speech because I didn't say it out my mouth. And then I sit up there and hit the end button without submitting feedback. So I have to figure out a way to go back in there because they're, like I'm not doing nothing. That's crazy, man. Everything that Trump say is supposed to be hate speech, but when at least he's not promoting violence in a way where people are scratching Teslas and people are scratching and cracking my car, window, or putting nails in my tire, making me have to come out of pocket for things. That's hate. But to sit up there and get mad at me because that's AI generated, that is AI generated stuff. I'm the one talking. I'm the one in the room. I'm pretty sure you got advanced technology that good where you know who's in the room and who's where. That is unfair, Bite Dance. That is very unfair. I want to dispute or challenge you on those too. I'm going to get off of here and figure out a way to challenge you. You said my visibility has been diminished for 10 minutes. You just want to take away my page. When I'm playing Hollywood stuff, it's like, it's okay when I'm dancing. But as soon as I start talking politics, you get sensitive. You're sensitive about Tim Walz all the way from China. Wonder why. Is he a part of the cause? So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm throwing a hissy fit, but I know I'm right. I know I'm right. That wasn't me. They have a loophole. They have a loophole. Basically, what they're telling me is whatever thing that I do on there need to not be politics. It's okay for Lil Wayne to call people the C word. That's okay. People, it's memes about that. It's okay for people to shake their butt with thongs and smoke crack or smoke cocaine, whatever, on camera or do the TikTok challenge. But when I sit up there and literally Tim Walsh gets called the R word, y'all sit up there and ban my life for 10 minutes? It's okay. I'm not mad. I said what I had to say. You all moderators know how I feel now. You've been knew how I feel all the way, you know, where you are. I'm not prejudiced, but telling you, I'm telling you, I'm not stupid. I see what you're trying to do to my TikTok. And I'm about to figure out a way to dispute it or get you all's attention. Do I have your attention now? You think because you're a big tech company, you can do this to me? All that technology and you can't tell who's speaking? You made it like that. You make your own rules over there. It's a dictatorship. I'm still maybe I'm still waiting on him to take the deal. But I understand you got to find the right person. I mean, this is a sensitive, like, if the White House is covering it, this is a sensitive topic. TikTok is a good platform to voice your concerns. There should be no limits on what you say. If it's on my Instagram feed, then it should be able to be on my TikTok feed. You're okay with women just shaking their butts. You're okay with people possibly smoking. I've seen it. It happened with Facebook. At first, Facebook was doing the exact same thing you were doing. And then you sat up there. Then I sat up there and just started. I got mad. I started advocating. I started researching. And I know it's illegal shit going on here that I don't see. People have a F Trump candle. And you want to censor me because they they called one of your minions the R word. Well, I'm sorry. He is the R word. He's spewing hate. He's going around spewing hate. If it wasn't for the Democrats, these Teslas would not be messed up, burnt, blown up. My car wouldn't be ruined. There is a division. I mean, for years they've been saying Trump is a part of the KKK. Do you see any white people doing any harm to black people right now in 2025/2026? There was a hanging, but he did it himself. There are, you know, they don't even care about the black people no more because they know, obviously, it's the truth that black people sit up there and kill each other and want each other dead for no reason. That goes all the way back to the Egyptian story where they sat up there and they said, his own brother said, whoever can fit in his coffin can keep the coffin. They get in the coffin, they slam the coffin shut, and they send his ass floating down the river to die. His wife, Isis, bring him back to life, and then they chopped him up in 37 pieces or 36 pieces. It's dysfunctional. So it's, I don't get it. I really don't. Um, but it's all good, you know. One day, you know, I don't understand TikTok, you know, why you you just keep giving me, it doesn't look good on my sheet. Just because I curse, it wasn't me cursing. I can see if I said that to tampon, that wasn't even, well, yeah, it was hate. I laughed, but I don't feel that, I don't feel that way. And it was an accident. I didn't know she was about to say that. I thought she was about to really speak. I thought that was a real interview, but it was AI generated. There's no way that woman would say some shit like that. So yeah, but you know, it's all good. I'm gonna stray away. I got the hint. I'm gonna stray away from politics while I'm on here. Now, my other platforms, I'm like, okay, I'm still in a love-hate relationship with um, ByteDance, TikTok, and me because they keep trying to shut my page down. But um, I'm gonna stay away from politics all as a whole while being on TikTok, just to keep the peace between China minions, because that's what it all boils down to, is China minions. The Democrats in China get along just well. How is that hate? That's true. Obviously, they were allowing, they knew where the drugs was coming from. They just did one of these numbers. And people coming in, 25,000 people, 25,000 lives per boat, per boat. Is just gone down the drain. And that's why I don't care what the president do no more. You know, at first, you know, I have maybe 0.0001% challenges with Trump. He's going down the list of presidency things that needs to be done. How many presidents have accomplished so much in so little time? How many presidents accomplished that? Not many. They probably do 70% of their job and make it look like 100%. But like I said, it's like, tell us about the factory outlet. Well, no. Tell us, no. The gazebo, this is Trump. Operation Gazebo went fine. And all of the journalists is like, Operation Gazebo, what the fuck is he talking about? Operation Gazebo. You know, like he's going down the list, even having the journalists briefed prior, slightly prior to them sitting up there um, going live. Once they're live, then they know what questions they want to ask them. And not all of them get those questions, but they get briefed on what the president wants them to know. And they probably like, huh? You know, you got some strays like ABC that already have their questions. They give their questions to the CEO or someone over them what Trump has done. And that's why Trump kirks out, because he gives them a briefing, a pre-briefing. He gives a small amount of people a pre-briefing of what's going on. And they still ask dumb questions. Like they'll be like, tell us about Russia. You don't like Russia, right? You know you don't like Russia. Come on, come on, come on. You know, and he'd be like, that is why I hate the fake news. The fake news. Over there, over there. You know, like seriously, you know, it's crazy, man, how someone can sit up there and say, you know, hey, look, you know, I don't you like Russia, you know, and to tick someone's off, you know, off to you know, because you say something, and that's the more you grow in rank, the more that happens to you. The more you grow in rank, the more that happens to you, where you sit up there and they'll sit up there and test you. They'll test you. They'll test you and they'll be funny towards you just to see, you know, if you'll react. If you react, you probably have a lawsuit. If you don't react, then you live to tell it that you didn't react. And I didn't react. Like in Walmart, like a couple of days ago, there was this Ukrainian woman or Russian woman. She had a deep, deep overseas accent between Russia, Ukraine, and other places in that Slavia, Slovakia, or however you say it. But I forgot, y'all. Honestly, what I did was I was scanning my certificate plaques, and I forgot that I didn't scan two of them. Two of them. Seriously, I put that on God. I guesstimated, I had the gun, the little scanning gun right here, and I guesstimated how many was on it. I didn't even count because I was ready to get the hell out the store already. Just pay and leave because things were getting weird. So I was like, okay, do. I was like, okay, that should be good. Pay my money. I'm walking to the end of the Walmart, and this short Ukrainian woman, or I don't, it's not Middle East, it's somewhere in Europe, I don't know, but South Europe or Middle Europe. But she said, can I see your receipt? I said, okay, okay. So I gave her my receipt, and she was like, she she went through every line. I've never seen it like that before, but she went through every line. And if I was to steal, I wouldn't steal something by going under. That's a great idea. That is a great idea. And there's been some instances where I've accidentally left something in the cart and noticed it later and went back and paid for it. That's how dedicated I am. One time I just got lazy and said, you know what, I charged this to the game because they should have been watching me a little harder. I'm honest. So she was doing her job. She sat up there and she was like, well, I'm just doing my job. She was like, don't you know? I mean, the way she questioned me was police like. But then when I started saying, what are you doing? Like, seriously, like one lady came by, you know, she showed her receipt. She snapped back. She had a whole bunch of shit. It's no way she read her receipt that quick and looked through all those groceries. There's hidden stuff above under there. She was more focused on me. And so I'm like, she was like, you have two things you haven't paid for. I'm like, ma'am, I would gladly pay for it. Like, I have no reason to still, you know, just testing my nerves, man. Like, I'm like, oh God, this Ukrainian woman, she just don't know who I am. If she would, she probably did, but she wanted to test it because I'm going to tell the truth to the ends of me. And so I sat up there and I was like, you know what? Let's pay for it. And you know, I'm like, this, you're emasculating me. I told her straight to her face. I said, you're emasculating me. And she's like, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. Your job would have been to look through all of that other woman's groceries and then come back to me. but you were focused on me like something in you wanted to catch me slipping. There's ways to steal, and I'm not into stealing, but there's ways. I'm not a stealer. I stole one time in my life and got caught and paid restitution, and that was when I was 16. I don't purposefully steal. I don't do stuff a second time. I learned from the mistake the first time. So going back, I apologize. I stand corrected. I did not steal that whatever it was that came home with me when I was at Kirkland Crossing. But I did not go back to pay for it. I didn't know I did not pay for it until the end. So that's different than knowing. But I don't do things a second time. Case in point, when I was lunged at, I could have sat up there. I was feeling drugged already with whatever happened, like it was terrible, man. It was terrible. I just hope nothing bad happens. I hope I stand optimistic like Trump stand optimistic about China or a new alien species, you know, very optimistic, but very defensive, yet at warish. Don't trust, but trust. Give you a little trust. I sprinkle a little trust on people to see what they do. I give them just a little bit of trust. I don't give them all because then I would be dead by now, crying, depressed because nobody or some people dislike the things that I have to say. So I give them a little bit of trust and see how responsible they can be with my trust. And if they take what trust I have, and run with it and mess me over, I know how to come back at it. That's what I mean. I'm not going to allow myself to trust somebody 100% when I have been let down. And that's what it's about. It's about gaining people trust, and you can gain someone's trust. All you have to do is be trustworthy. But one thing I noticed that is I, I am so CIA-like because I notice that people tell on themselves. People tell on themselves. Eventually, if you say you like me and we go, it takes 2 times to show three, up to 3 to show who you really are. One time you can be the fakest, most nicest person. And I may buy it, but I'm not stupid. The second time, maybe little holes through it. Then you start seeing what you want, what they really want with you. The third time it's like their personality really shows. So that's free knowledge. It didn't take me to have to do a CIA class to know that. If someone's being nice to you, there's always a reason. That's why I don't go around people like that. I hate to say it, y'all. I don't go around, like if it's business, I go around it. But to be around someone at an extended period, 2 or 3 more times, I start seeing what and who they truly are. Someone strategically sat next to me, this lady, so she can ruin my name on the plane. She had to be either ex-FBI agent or some type of government official. They knew I was going to fly under the alias of Lomax. And so she made sure she got me to talk. We had way too much in common. And she wanted me to say my name on the plane. Never called, nothing. So I know it was a setup. It's sad, man. There are agents following me. She said she cleaned toilets. She has 40 contracts. She got my number, would call me, and I gave her, you know what I told her? Because I knew it wasn't going to go nowhere, y'all. I knew it. She was just extracting for information and to sit up there and put people up on it, So she and I, during the talk, I was like, you know what? If it goes nowhere, I just want to tell you, God bless. If it goes nowhere, I just want to tell you, God bless. Because I knew it wasn't going to go nowhere. I don't even think she's from Boise. All she wanted to do was talk about my business. And I kept giving her the chamber, the chamber, the chamber of commerce. Then I knew it was a red flag when she alerted me that I shouldn't do it through the chamber of commerce. That is a red flag to me when I know that the chamber of commerce is the best place because these people have money and have businesses. Why would I go through one person that tells me they got money and you're on a coach flight like me? You're not in first class. So if you got 40 contracts and they're commercial contracts and you got 17 employees, then you should be in first class. Why are you flying coach happen to be right next to me, cleaning toilets like me, like I once did? Then I come downstairs, y'all. Let me tell you how these agents play, these crooked agents. I come downstairs. I was going to walk up to the police, but I was like, no, I don't want to even make my presence known. I said, at first, I wanted to introduce myself. So I was in the middle of writing. I was trying to write my plan down. One lady comes right next to me where she can just start filming me. So I said, you know what? And then something told me, I said, turn around. So I turned around and there was another lady looking at my phone. I said, I had my pen in my hand, a knife in my pocket. Didn't even know I had a knife in my pocket because they let me through the x-ray. I didn't even know I looked weird because I had a pen in my hand. And but the police moved from all the way over there at the airport to near where I was, like they knew something was wrong. And so I'm walking, where's the pen? I'm walking, I didn't know I had a knife at the time. I'm walking with a pen in my hand like this. And no, it was like this or something because I was just writing. And I had my book bag on and I had my purse over me and I had this big old black jacket over me. And I'm talking about, hey, do y'all know how to get an Uber? And they like, you will have to go upstairs to the second floor. And I'm like, okay. So I sit up there and go to the second floor. People begin to start acting weird. Again, like certain people, it shows, and I was like, it shows who was the agents, like, and who wasn't. I'm not saying all the agents were out there, like these people that could have potentially followed me, out there. I don't know. We would never know. But there were good agents there too, specifically at Seattle Airport. Because I had one laugh at because I know I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. One of them laughed at me, and the way he laughed at me was very hilarious because I know why he was laughing. I won't say why he was laughing, but it was an inside joke. He tried to hide it on his face, but his smirk told the story. That's how I know that was one of them. Um, People that have been watching me heavily that are agents. I think the crooked agents, they can't watch me like that because they don't have all of the technology that Trump FBI has. These are either ex-agents or bottom feeder agents, agents that need to be fired, that took your technology ideas and ran with them and is using them against you to get people like me, you know, um, intercepting phone calls. Do you know I can go to a police auction for $14,000 and buy off their system to intercept phone calls? That's 8,000. To get on the map of interception of phone calls, that would take $3,000. $3,000. So don't tell me interception cannot be done because it can. All it takes is they know what equipment they have to have. If so, and like I said, that ex police or like one that I met physically, one of them that I met physically face to face while on duty was an officer, a female officer that filmed me. I sat up there and told her that I had amphetamines in my system. I had all of like weird drugs in my system. I drug test myself and it showed these weird drugs, and she didn't even look at all phase. I gave her a 17-page manifesto of what happened to me in Santa Maria, California, to here. Not here as in here, but Seattle. That probably never got to the chief of police. And if it did, it got censored. But one thing I do say for all the other people is that thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for giving me a chance. And that goes from the woman assistant that gave me the records to the release of the records. Thank you. That's everybody, both male and female, except for that lady that set me up for failure by having me go to the hospital only for them to try to make me look crazy when I'm holding up a bottle. I'm holding up a bottle that shows this is in my system. This is how big this is. This is how big the setup is. The big grand operation setup Kimberly Cloud is. They're willing to lie and make me look crazy in Seattle than to sit up there and tell the truth. Just like they sat up there and called me, I took a STI test. They sat up there and called me and said I had herpes. They lied. That's how big it is. That's how big it is in Seattle where they were trying to mess me over. It was drugs in my system, and I have the cup to prove it. I don't even know what I did with that cup. I think it's in a shed, but no, I know where it's at. It's in one of my luggages. But yeah, seriously, like, how can I have those drugs in my system? And why was my behavior changing? How can I have those? What my concern was is, how could those drugs be in my system when I'm not going downtown to get them? I'm not going to the hood to get them. I'm not going through any person that sells amphetamines. I stay at home. I run errands and I come back home and take care of my business. How is it that those reached my bloodstream? I don't care what a doctor says no more in Seattle. They can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. You know, I had barbiturates in my system. I had let me get the cup. I want to show y'all. I showed it on Facebook, but some of y'all don't even know. Let me get the cup because I want to prove it to you guys. It looks embarrassing, but you have to think this was almost a year ago that I had that cup. I'm proving my point of how shady and shisty the governmental system is in Seattle. Ah, where's my keys? Oh, over there. I couldn't find it, you guys. It's somewhere in the house or in that room. And anyway it goes, I have it. It'll come back to me. I didn't throw it away. I didn't throw it away. So yeah, it was like amphetamines, barbiturates, and my mood was changing. My mood was like changing a lot in Seattle. You see it, and one day I just I was just there like this for a while, and it was filming, and then it just cut off. I'm like, what is going on, man? Like seriously. I know my body, so the story behind the dirty piss test was I kept asking my probation officer. I kept asking, why won't y'all drug test me? And they kept saying, I kept asking her, why won't you drug test me? And she was like, well, we don't want to drug test you because you did good, so far so good. So I'm like, okay, you know, um, I want a drug test so it can be on record that I was clean. No, we don't need to go there, Miss Cloud. And then the gaslighting started. You know, I'm like, that makes no sense for a probation officer to not want to give them a drug test. And then I said, fuck this shit. My mood kept changing. I said, let me take a drug test. And that's when it appeared. So I went to the woman police officer that wanted to call my probation officer. And I said, no, I don't trust her. I said it right on camera to her face. I don't trust her, because that makes no sense for a probation officer to not give you a drug test. And then I go to the hospital, they automatically put me in a mental room. I asked to speak to a detective so that they can investigate this. And they put me in a mental room. And I was so disgusted, but I was like, you know what? This gives me time to take care of business. He walks in talking about, you're clean, Miss Cloud. You don't have no drugs in your system. I don't believe him no more. Why would you put me, you know something about me because you put me in a mental room because I asked to speak to a detective. That's not normal protocol. You don't even know me. Someone flagged my chart from the VA hospital. So they all were working together. All of them. So yeah, I my life has been nothing but a real life story as we go along. And I showed y'all how I did my paperwork. I showed y'all, you know, we talked about different things about Trump, making money and doing weird, dumb, not dumb, but doing things. Talked about, my heart goes out to Dan Bongino. I hope that this is a strategic move so that we can catch the bad guys together. If it's using me as bait, is what you want to do, as long as I don't get harmed, I'm fine. Thank you. Love you guys, all of you guys, even you guys out there watching, whoever stayed to the end. I love you. I love you.